Scott Adams, the conservative pundit and Dilbert creator, passed away at age 68. Following a fight with prostate cancer, cartoonist, writer, and political analyst Scott Adams passed away on Tuesday. He was 68. The statement was delivered on Adams's live feed on Tuesday morning by his caretaker and ex-wife, Shelley. Shelley stated, "Unfortunately, this isn't good news. He waited until right before the show began, of course, but he's no longer with us." Adams wanted to say a final message, which Shelley read aloud on the webcast. The note started, "If you're reading this, things did not go well for me. Before I leave, I have a few things to say. My body collapsed before my mind. As I write this on January 1st, 2026, I am of sound mind," Adams wrote. "For the first part of my life, I was focused on making myself a worthy husband and parent as a way to find meaning. After discussing Christianity, that worked, but marriages don't often endure forever, and this one dissolved amicably. I'm appreciative of those years and the individuals I grew to love." Adams declared in May 2025 that he had been diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer. Before making his public revelation, he claimed to have been managing his illness in private for a while, but he did point out that the disease had advanced to stage 4 and spread to his bones. On January 1st, Adams stated on his podcast, Real Coffee with Scott Adams, "I talked to my radiologist yesterday, and it's all bad news. The odds of me recovering are essentially zero. If that changes, I'll let you know, but it won't." The legendary musician went on, "There's no chance that I'll get my feeling back in my legs, and I have some ongoing heart failure, which is making it difficult to breathe sometimes during the day. January will likely be a month of transition one way or another, so you should get ready for that." Adams was in hospice care at his Northern California home and only had a few days to live. Shelley confirmed on Monday. Adams rose to fame with his comic strip Dilbert, which parodied corporate culture while revealing the harshness, ineptitude, and stupidity of management in big businesses. However, Adams's business counsel and political insight helped him gain widespread influence during his final 15 years. How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, his 2013 bestseller, is among the most important and enjoyable business books of the modern era. Adams presented the idea of employing systems rather than objectives in order to succeed in life. Additionally, he suggested that readers build a talent stack of talents rather than traditional credentials. Adams started making political commentary in 2015 after watching the first Republican presidential primary debate. Adams took notice when then-candidate Donald Trump said, "Only Rosie O'Donnell," in response to a moderator's question accusing him of mistreating women. Adams, a skilled hypnotist, foresaw that Trump, who was a massive underdog at the time, would win both the nomination and the presidency. Adams' audacious assertion was mocked. But when Trump got rid of Hillary Clinton, the Republican establishment, and his rivals, he became more and more prophetic. Adams employed what he called the persuasion filter, which involved evaluating political discourse only on its persuasiveness rather than its veracity. What started off as a straightforward blog post evolved into a daily live video feed on a number of platforms, including anti-cancel culture Rumble, in which he had invested, and the now-defunct Periscope app. Adams started each broadcast by making fresh coffee. Eventually, he dubbed his live stream Coffee with Scott Adams, and millions of followers had to watch or listen to it. They prepared their own mugs and tuned in for the simultaneous sip at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Adams was skilled at outlining Trump strategies to an increasing number of Trump supporters, but he was also curious about how Democrats and the left-leaning media perceived the situation. He clarified that the nation was frequently viewing two movies on one screen and contended, with a great deal of sympathy for his opponents, that cynical leaders had led supporters who were truly alarmed by Trump's rise into an emotional dead end. Adams reminded the audience that he was not a Republican, saying, "I'm further left than Bernie Sanders." In 2016, he even supported Clinton, citing his personal safety as a reason. However, he attracted a conservative following that quickly included Trump's advisors. Adams summarized the lessons from Trump's unexpected victory in his 2017 book, Win Bigly, Persuasion in a World Where Facts Don't Matter. With Loserthink, he uses criticisms of stale thinking in the media to promote constructive mental practices. Adams added an evening swaddle, during the coronavirus outbreak, wrapping himself in a flannel blanket and giving tips on how to survive lockdowns. The user interface for reality was one of his concepts. He clarified that we can select the filter we want to employ because we are only able to view reality through our own unique lenses. For instance, the Trump filter projected triumph, while the Dilbert filter predicted incompetence. Adams contended that by embracing success-oriented lenses, we not only persuade ourselves that success is achievable, but we also shape reality in that direction. Adams takes unusual political positions and occasionally criticizes the president. Despite his apparent support for Trump, Adams backed then San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick when he started taking a knee during the playing of the national anthem in support of the nascent Black Lives Matter BLM movement, and he was impressed by the protest's persuasiveness. He even gave guidance to BLM leaders, like Hawk Newsom of New York, when he made a comment on a Rasmussen poll in 2023, when just 53% of black respondents agreed with the statement. It's okay to be white. He was accused of racism. Adams joked that it would be beneficial to go away from those who had such animosity. His comic strip was pulled, and his publishing contract were ended, and he was canceled right away. Reframe Your Brain. The user interface for happiness and success is one of the books he started self-publishing. Given the increasingly obvious corruption of almost every other government system, he felt free to voice his more controversial political opinions, such as that the 2020 election had probably been rigged, and he relaunched a darker version of Dilbert on the Independent Locals platform. He posted on X in the final weeks of his life, inviting readers to share their own experiences of how his podcasts and lessons had impacted them. Adams revealed personal, frequently unpleasant facts about his life, including battling illness, going through a second divorce in 2022, and losing a stepson to a fentanyl overdose in 2018. Adams continued to stream live nearly every day, even though he eventually became paralyzed from the waist down. In his last days, he also converted to Christianity. In a last statement that Shelley read on Tuesday's live feed, he affirmed his conversion, though he would not provide specifics about his beliefs. Just like he had reframed life, he reframed death as one more filter that should not be feared.